DNA tests recently found that he probably did father a child of one of his slaves. Could the same be true of another founding father, the first American president, George Washington? One family is coming forward to claim they are the direct descendants of George Washington and one of his brother's slaves, a woman named Venus. The keepers of the Washington estate vehemently deny the claim. We're joined tonight by a woman who claims to be the great-great-great-great-granddaughter of George Washington. Linda Allen Bryant is with us from Denver, Colorado. And James Reese, resident director of Historic Mount Vernon, the second most visited home in America. He's with us tonight from Washington. Thank you both very much for joining us. And let me start with you, Ms. Bryant. What proof do you have that you're a descendant of George Washington? All right, Ms. Bryant, I think we're having an audio problem. We will work on that. In the meantime, let me start with you, Mr. Reese. Is there any proof that George Washington ever even met the woman Venus?
Well, we can't find, Jody, really any kind of manuscript or document or diary entry to even say that George Washington ever had an opportunity to meet Venus. Nor can we find anything that says that he was ever in the same company with the son of Venus. So from our point of view, even though this may be a piece of oral history, and that can be important too, we just don't see the documentation or the evidence to support this claim.
So, Ms. Bryant, Mr. Reese says there's no documentation that the two ever met, let alone had a child. What proof do you have that you're a descendant of George Washington's?
As I was trying to state earlier, when my sisters and brothers and I were small children, my mother, Elise Ford Allen, said that she had a story to tell us. She said that the story had been handed down orally for over 200 years. She said that we were related to a famous man in American history, that this man was the commander-in-chief of the Continental Army of the United States of America during the Revolutionary War, and that he later became the first president of the United States of America. My mother told us that George Washington was our fourth great-grandfather. Mr. Reese from the Mount Vernon's Ladies Association says that there is no actual proof or documentation that George Washington never visited the Bushfield plantation. Well, there was a letter in 1784 from John Augustine Washington that was written to George Washington asking him to come to